So, Gabe, what do you hope to accomplish with the podcast outside of yourself?
Outside of myself. I guess maybe like... Oh, that's still me. That still has to do with me.
We'll work through it. What were you going to say?
I just think, yeah, like I was going to say like a sense of accomplishment or, you know, like creatively, like what I for sure want to accomplish out of the whole entire thing is like having something to give to my son around like a formidable time in his life to where, you know, it's like, hey, these are the stupid, terrible ideas I had at this point in my life. You know, you probably, yeah, you probably have similar ones. Yeah, the deheroization of your father at a time where you need it the most.
Okay, well, but you can't just like export something out of you and then just make something to give it to that export. That's kind of you still too.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. That's why I didn't.
You're like, my son is me.
I am me.
I'm cheating.
You got me. Yeah, no, I think that, and then maybe, I don't know, it has everything to do with me, but I guess, because everything I want to say is like, oh, so I can learn this, so I can be better at interacting with people, so that I can enjoy the people that I'm around on an even bigger, platform.
Do you want to help people to do the same?
Yeah, absolutely. To entertain, to allow the people that I know that are in my life that are entertainers but aren't particularly entertaining at the moment, like just because of whatever it is, that blockage that happens in your brain that tells you it's not good enough or you shouldn't do it, to get rid of that. And you need to check out my last episode.
I do. Let's listen to it as the first part of this episode.
Right? Yeah. Welcome, everybody. This is the first part. We've been recording. Drew got out of the bathroom and I decided to hit the button. We're going to be talking about a couple things today. I don't know what they are at all, so we're just going to kind of go for it. And I have a little bit of a list. Drew has some stuff to bring up. But we'll just see how it goes.
Yeah.
He's gonna...
The Brainwaves Hello presents Brain Flakes with your host, Gabe, the host.
Wait, you guys need to hear this a little bit more. This is my intro that he painstakingly wrote for weeks till this very day.
Not true. Well, I was gonna actually do the intro with you on. Well, since it's been kind of interrupted now.
Go for it. Start it over. It's totally fine. I'm ready to hear it.
The Brainwaves Hello presents Brain Flakes, episode 4 or 5, maybe. Depends on how you look at it. Bringing you your host, Gabe Hall. He podcast game master. What else would you like me to say about you on this podcast?
Not in yet. You're still introducing me.
Oh, okay. Gabe, he's the man of the hour, father to be, podcast for the son, Jackson.
Hey everybody, I'm here now. Oh man, thank you for that intro. Oh, what did I say on? Thank you for that intro.
I didn't like the intro, but
thanks. Man, that was so good. I didn't hear all of it because I was in the back waiting for the curtain to pull across and me to run right on out. That's exactly how it happened. It was beautiful, and I appreciate it. But I'm glad to be here. I'm so glad to be here on Drew's episode of Brainplay. But let's set this down. Hopefully it's not too far. Okay. So let me take a drink because this is a big deal. Are you ready for how big of a deal this is?
Oh, dang! I wish I had prepared your intro if it was a big deal.
No, it was. It was a whole thing. I came out of it, and they already know. They know exactly what I'm talking about. Let me find my book. All right. I want to talk to you about something today. And
he's talking to you, computer.
Yeah, to you, Drew. He's not here. It's just us. All right. I'm going to talk to you about something very special, close to my heart. And that is memes. Drew, he came back in. Drew,
no.
What's your favorite meme?
Man, I have not memed since, like, what was the Velociraptor one?
Oh my goodness. So you're saying you haven't made your own memes since then? Or you haven't posted a meme since then? Or...
Yeah, like, if I see a meme, it's brand new in my eyes. Like, I don't know its name. I don't know what people do with it outside of the one time that I see it, you know?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
But what is the name of the Velociraptor one?
Maybe it's Velociraptor.
Velociraptor.
Yeah, of course. That's a good one.
That's why I like it.
Velociraptor. Yeah, it's always like it has this inquisitive pose, finger to chin. Mine is the little black kid, and his face is just swollen, and he says, "I feel it." That was my all-time favorite meme. I just saw it again recently, and I couldn't stop laughing. Like, just the amount of applications it has, and his poor face is just so like.
Is it like actually swelled from something outside of like an unhealthy reason?
No, well maybe. I mean that's the crazy thing because that's actually happened before. That's in the history of memes that there was this kid who had its own issues, but then somebody took a picture from Facebook, turned it into a meme. And that parent was really upset because it's like, to their eyes, and obviously the kid's a very beautiful child, like, it's unfortunate to take it and turn it into a joke based off of its look, you know? And saying, oh, it looks like this other thing, or it looks like some fairy tale creature because it's so ugly, or something like that. And then it, snowballing and becoming something else. Which is another point we'll make later about just the ownership of your things. Of your photos and posting things online, and that anybody could take anything and do anything they want with it. They're picking up the trash right now. Perfect timing.
How's that?
I'm gonna close the door, but yeah, man, like I don't know what's wrong with him, but his poor little face, he's just kind of looking up, and his eyes are just squinted. And like it's usually like when the weed kicks in or something, or when when you're too drunk or something, it just says I feel it. But his face is just so like he feels whatever's happening to him. He's feeling it.
I feel what that guy's feeling.
Exactly. Yeah, that's a very common thing. But memes are really taking on a life of their own. I did a little bit of a study, and I'm gonna sound really rehearsed right now because that's the show we have is a very rehearsed one, obviously. But I want to read this little thing to you. So,
surprised if anyone made it this far.
Right? If they're like, okay, that's enough awkward feeling for one day. So yeah, the definition of memes per Wikipedia says an idea, behavior, or style that spreads from person to person within a culture, often with the aim of conveying a particular phenomenon, theme, or meaning represented by that meme. So that's pretty interesting.
Yeah, memes have existed for much longer than the internet, but we have never like created them and identified them in such a like entertaining way before.
Yeah, and I think what would be another version of that, like maybe like the Hallmark card, or very like familiar ones, like I'm getting this particular card. Or then it spreads and people get those like a monkey butt card or something, or a card that has a song attached to it, and that being the one that keeps getting passed around and around for reasons either through that friend group, one person got it, showed everybody else, they all liked it, and then people started giving that card out to each other.
Well, is there a possibility of pausing?
Sure. You guys won't know we paused, but we'll know we paused.
I wanted to...
Wow, we paused for so long. We were gone forever. Didn't it feel like a really long time?
That was a crazy pause.
So, continuing what I was saying, when it comes to memes, Wikipedia has an insane, just incredibly comprehensive study on what it is, and it has its origins starting as the Greek word memea, which translates to imitated thing, and then its infancy being raised by the likes of Richard Dawkins, who coined the shortening of the word into meme in his 1976 book, The Selfish Gene. There it is. Can't read my own writing. Most of its teenage life, which is where they say we are right now in memetic development, has been spent as an evolutionary concept of spreading one's culture through a type of information transfer unlike anything else on this earth. Yeah. There are plenty more topics that we don't have the time to discover, but I'll list off a few categories that are worth checking out if you are interested. Criticism of meme theory, religion, memetic explanation of racism, architectural memes, internet culture, and then meme maps. Meme maps.
Meme maps.
Meme maps. It's meme maps.
Sounds like meme map.
Yeah, exactly. Which really, at that point, start to feel like it's a meme itself. The Wikipedia page just becomes so comprehensive and so ridiculous at a certain point, and as you read on, things become very twisted and kind of garbled, similar to like a Reggie Watts, when
like
he's kind of when he's just giving his things which are such as just goes into this explanation that just really phonetically makes sense. Yeah, phonetically, it's traversing linguistics, but it's not really saying anything. It's
like a Donald Trump speech.
Exactly. Yes. Yes.
Yes, nailed it. We got him.
We got him, guys.
No, that's so true. I was trying to remember how memes were not just a way to transfer comedy to each other, but actual culture to each other, and that has been memes have existed, like you were saying, outside the internet. I wouldn't necessarily mark it as I wanted to get an example from it that isn't just stationary with words to present culture. I think memes are that can transfer their information, can even be like a Christmas tree or something. It's not that is a transfer of culture and ideas that when seen we all understand now what that kind of means outside of itself.
Yeah. It's a pretty decent example. I like that.
Maybe. I'm pretty sure that's right. I didn't read the Wikipedia page for me. You can tell me.
But truthfully, yeah, if you're interested in it, if you think it sounds interesting, I say go check it out. It's
far deeper than I thought.
It's far deeper than any of us thought.
I mean, okay, so yeah, and we're you can perpetuate your cultural ideas through memes.
Right. That's kind of what it's getting at. That's the evolutionary aspect of it. It's, being able to, it's you can pretty much change what groups of people believe just through a meme. They don't always have to be, it's like you were saying earlier, it's not always comedy. It could be a specifically negative one. I don't know much about it because I didn't study on that, but the Pepe meme becoming something entirely different and just apparently some kind of symbol of hate. Don't quote me on it, but it's become its own thing. And that's pretty scary. That's pretty weird that you can start changing beliefs and start changing mentalities for a negative, gain, just through something as simple as just here's an idea, here's what I pretend the situation is, and I post it, and then I say, hey, check out this thing I found. Not even you created it. It's oh, look at this thing. Yeah. And then it keeps tumbling and becoming more and more gets shared and becomes more and more prevalent, and now it becomes its own category. You could that could be sent out, and then a Facebook page could be made for it, and then people are following that page. So now you have a group.
Well, what was that? I mean, you were naming the different almost fields of studies within memes, and there was one about racism.
I didn't look into it yet, but I'm sure that's where it was going to go.
But exactly, being racist is kind of just a cultural idea, and it's not embedded in our like genes. It is a cultural idea passed on through
Absolutely.
memes of being like this, this person is, we don't like this person because of this meme that I'm going to now tell you, and it's going to infect your mind, kind of thing.
Yeah, and it's a way to identify yourself within a group. It's a way to identify, like-minded people. So yeah, that's very, very true. That's what they did then. It's like, hey, you're a lot like me. You're also the same color as me. We should think this way, right? And then that person's like, yeah, of course. Yeah, why not? Absolutely. Sounds good.
Or even more dangerous just between, a parent to a younger mind of their
True.
own,
Yeah. I mean, that's the super fragile time, which we've talked about before, that I'm finding myself soon to be in, and trying to choose the right, not just to try to choose the right things, but like knowing what I know about myself and knowing what I've gone through, and what to do differently, and what to do the same, and what to do the way that Gabe will do it, and that being the best decision. You can't really say, well, is Gabe's way the right way? I don't know, maybe, Drew's way is the right way, or maybe RL. No, you have to kind of really be solid in yourself, I think, before you are able to raise another human being, like, so that they can learn to be solid in themselves too. But and when I say doing it Gabe's way is, being open, being able to listen to other people, not choose, always choosing to have the benefit of the doubt or the right emotion first, and then choosing and sticking to that choice later on. Even if it's being angry, it's like first listening, and then like, yeah, I heard all the evidence. No, I'm actually mad. Like, I'm mad now, and that's the feeling I'm gonna feel, and you're just gonna have to deal with it. I'm okay with that.
Why is mad the example of
because
emotion you'd like to hang on to?
Not necessarily the one I like. It's the first one I go to a lot of the time. Like when I hear something that, I see it all laid out, and especially, I don't want to get too into it, but there are people in my life who have other people in their life that are very frustrating, and just are making really weird decisions, and I have to kind of sit and acquiesce and just kind of be like, okay, whatever, let it be, let it do what it's going to do. But sometimes when given all of the details, I'm thinking, no, this is just a heaping pile of smelly bullshit, and there's so much that could be being done about the situation, and in the vein of like helping yourself, like this person chooses to not change, chooses to not grow, chooses to not help themselves.
Wait, I thought we were talking about you.
I know we're talking about me. No, I'm not talking about me right now. This is what I'm saying. Like, I get mad when people don't do those things. So the Gabe way is to always change, is to always grow, is to always get better, always to think first, and to be open. And then even in the last podcast we talked about being a humanist. Just being all about the human experience. Black, white, green, female, whatever you are. Green females, yeah, that's it. I'm all for it. People. I'm all for it. But yeah, just being all in when it comes to that, because that's kind of the most important thing currently, that we have, and things lower than that, treat that with respect as well, obviously. But yeah, being as conscious as you can while you have it. That's the Gabe way, and hopefully that's. I mean, I would hope that that's just everybody's way, but I know it's not, and so that's what you try to instill your kids in that, and that's what you want to like. You need to hold strong to who you are, and you can't really deny yourself any of that, and that's a huge part of why I'm doing the podcast in the first place. So that was your first question. I've circled it back.
Yeah.
But it still all revolves around me. It has nothing to do with anybody. It has nothing to do with the two people that are listening to this, you and me. It has nothing to do. I always shit on the small audience I have. I always shit on them. Sorry, guys. I love you. But, yeah. So
Gabe's future son, you're not going to be a racist. I have no concern about that.
Now, are you going to say racist things all the time? Yes. Because it could be hilarious.
Well, hopefully less when it's not a problem.
Yes, when it's not a problem.
Because see, like being racist about white people right now is like that's cool.
Oh my gosh, you just reminded me, and this is perfect. So,
as a white person,
right, I was actually at Coffee Bean. Oh wait, I said I'd never rep anything on this show. Never mind, I was at a coffee shop.
Oh my god, you're lying now?
I was at a coffee shop.
Audience?
Yes, because we're only anytime. Okay, how about this? Anytime we have to rep something, we just. This is why we need to write an intro for Brain Flakes.
No, you need to talk to me outside of the podcast and tell me why you are opposed so strongly to saying anyone else's business.
Anything.
Yeah, anyone else's anything.
Because it's about me.
Save it for after.
Because it's about me. Okay, so I was at a coffee shop.
Yeah.
I don't remember the name of it. I was at a coffee shop, and I was getting all my stuff together. I had my coffee. I was getting my creamer, getting everything at the counter, and I hear to my right these two women talking, and I'm like, okay, hey, look, I got a podcast. I wanna listen to what they have to say. So sure enough, I'm looking, I'm listening in. I'm trying to get as close as I can without being creepy to hear what they're talking about, because it sounds like they're talking about issues. They're talking about actual things, and in this day and age, it's impossible to especially interact with women on a certain level. So I didn't want to be creepy. But anyways, I'm listening, and sure enough, she's talking about how, man, like, I think these words actually came out of her mouth. She's like, I really want to support Black Lives Matter, but I'm white, and it's so difficult. And I'm like, okay. And then she was talking further on that, and it was interesting. It was how, like, you've had this conversation before. It's like it is kind of hard to be white right now, and be supportive, and I feel like white people have gotten it wrong a lot, even when they were being supportive. Like, I think they were like, oh, let's outlaw this thing, and people were like, and the people who were actually being affected by it were like, okay, calm down, white people, you don't need to really go for it all that much. Yeah, trying to control the situation and take something away, or add something that just is absolutely unnecessary. Like, when done correctly, like when telling a story, like when it comes to movies, I think Quentin Tarantino was feeling like, I'm going to get a lot of shit for Django. I'm going to get so much shit for this. I don't feel right putting these black men in shackles just for a movie, and he had talked to a really prominent black actor, and the guy was like, well, you just sound like you're scared to make your movie. And that's the problem, like that you have this other mentality going on, other than like you're trying to really honestly tell a story of what it was like and how things went down, and the people that have joined your endeavor like understand that, and that's why they're there, and you need to respect them, and you need to respect the past, you need to respect all of that by not having that fear, and
True,
that's
but
more.
It is like, I mean, on such sensitive subjects, like it does become like a more scary situation, because you can have people have good intentions all the time, and then can mess things up and do something wrong. So it is like, it is a brave thing to have to do. Like, if you want to, I'm glad that he made Django. I thought it was a good movie. And I'm not gonna go into saying that like I know that it was a good interpretation, or like anything that like it made me feel good, but I can't say it made every person like feel good as a movie kind of thing. And like,
you're being so white right now.
I know, just being so I'm so white when it comes to like talking through these subjects, but I really do think it is important to be have an open ear as a person who is trying to help. Like, it is important to be like, hey, I do care about Black Lives Matter as a movement, but as a white person, I want to I want to enter it in the way that my position is like going to be helpful. You know? I don't want to enter it and make a bad meme of myself, you know, and being this person. So I think caution is needed in some of these situations for sure.
Yeah. No, she was definitely someone I just was like, man,
but it is,
if this podcast was any bigger, if it was, if it did steamroll itself into becoming something that where I could actually have, people that are talking about something that really honestly means something to them outside of us. We talk about things that mean something to us, but someone else, and like I would have loved to have her just talk. Like, everything she was saying and just record it. I had half a mind to record her talking to her friend, but I thought that'd be way too weird.
Yeah, I don't think
but
it's...
it was a really interesting conversation. It was a really interesting point of view that I didn't share. And I didn't share it because, like, I'm not doing that. And so, like, you know, I applaud her for whatever she has done and what she is choosing to hopefully do and all that stuff. And I hope she finds the confidence, and I hope she finds someone able to tell her, like, hey, you do what you got to do, you know, regardless of whatever stigma is attached to it, especially if it's something in the way of, like, helping people, you know. And
Exactly. Because I would say that, you know, if she has the fear of doing it, but she does do something to, like, you know, help the Black Lives Matter movement, which I think is a, like, naturally good movement. Though the people who can fly, anyone can fly a flag, whatever flag that they want, at the time of doing any actions that they want, you know? And so the messages and the people that you see who you can criticize don't always match up with each other. But I would say that if she does actually get to action with her wants, because for me, I'm someone who's like, I should support, like, you know, my neighbors who have like less than like privilege than me, I guess.
okay,
You know,
yeah,
I feel like I do need to act on that, but being so scared into inaction, I think is you know, is understandable, since I do that often, you know. But I think if she does do action, then she's getting ahead of the game, and I think that's what we all need to do.
I think also the fear, especially for me, is tying myself to any one thing, you know, and that, like, I guess I would call that fear-based too, but at the same time, like, I don't want to, because I've always said when you're too far into one thing, you're wrong somewhere else, and, like, that's frustrating, you know. So it's like, was this movement, like, inherently good? Probably. Has it gotten really muddled up with words and slander and all this other stuff by its own doing? Probably, yeah, most likely, and by other people, like, saying, you know, well, what about this, and the whataboutism that takes place all across the board,
Right.
you know?
Yeah, to say its own doing is like, you know, it's like to take Christianity and then take its worst church and be
Right.
like, you know, and be like, look at how awful Christians are. And then, you know, you have 100 Christians who are like, it's like, hey, no, that doesn't represent that doesn't represent me, even though you define it as. So I feel like, you know, the same thing can happen on any movement, I guess.
Yeah, absolutely. And so that's kind of, you know, the fear of tying yourself to something. But I guess in your own small way, like, make that effort. Like, I feel like for me, I do try to play that comedian part where, you know, I will make some kind of race joke, or I'll make a sex joke, whatever it is, and it's not because I inherently believe it. It's because, you know, like, it's to make light of it. It's to if you can laugh about it, it's okay, kind of thing. Like, you just kind of, you're like, okay, you know, I'm secure in who I am and what I'm doing, and the person, you know, accepting the joke should hopefully feel that way as well. Like, if they're insecure about something or other, then that joke's not going to land, or that concept isn't really going to, you know, sink well for them, because, you know, there's something pre-existing there. There's a hurt, or there's a pain, or there's, you know, a belief. But I think the job of making light of things is to completely, like, you go into something like that, or you go into a comedy show, or you're going to listen to something, or you're going to watch something, and to have your walls down, you know, and if you are experiencing something and someone's sending something your way, you realize, like, oh crap, I had a wall there, and I tend to cringe when I hear some comics, and I'm like, oh, that got me as a person, like that. Ooh, should I let that get me? And then what do you do with that? And that's, like, a really transformative experience that everyone should kind of go through. It's like, you should feel a little cringe. You should feel a little like, whoa, like, you just kind of, like, penetrated this like part of who I am that I don't really, like, allow, you know, to be, like, thought about or even touched or anything. And sure enough, like, there's actual thinking to be had, like, about that. Like, why do I feel that? Why did I feel that way? Why did that elicit that response? Why did, you know, is that important to have? Like, you know, should I change that, or should I develop that a little bit? Like, is that a good thing? You know, like that this thing came my way and I had a defense for it. Like, do you really need that? And most of the time, the answer is no. Most of the time, you don't need that defense against, you know. I guess I would say like what someone's saying. You know, at the same time, somebody could say something negative to you to definitely have a defense. But like, there are a lot of things that you could really just, you know,
not take as personally.
Not take as personally. Exactly. Not to take it personal, and take
four.
it as a broad concept, and it becomes so much funnier, you know, or more interesting.
It's like what it's good to analyze the amount of, you know, actual harm words in specific areas can do, you know, and it, like, comedians, the best ones, are very talented at saying what is hard to say in the right ways,
right,
to get you to understand, laugh about it, and find the ridiculousness of your pretenses. But like, you know, it's still it's not a talent that every person has. So you do have plenty of people on the internet making plenty of awful, you know, Dane Cook derivative jokes or something where they find themselves to be just joking.
I'm about to go on a tangent based off of that in a little bit, but I will say, you're totally right. I totally agree with you. I think sometimes I have that more than I do, and so I have gotten in hot water over things I say and do, and it pisses me off. I'm like, Dane, do I just need to really just get serious and come up with a set and just be a comedian so I can say whatever the fuck I want?
You should fucking come up with a set. That'd be great.
I really want to do that. Yeah, it's a 5-minute set. I think I could come up with 3 minutes of talking.
I
mean, we've talked for probably 40 minutes now, so I could probably come up with something.
A rapper that I listened to, he just thought himself a funny guy, and so he did an open mic, like, comedy session, put it on Spotify, and it was pretty bad, but he did it, and I laughed a couple of times. So.
Like, it was terrible, but it was great. Yeah. Now, speaking of the likes of Dane Cook.
Which, let me say, I watched a few Dane Cook's comedy thing in my day, and I laughed my ass off. I thought it was funny. Yeah. I'm just saying, like, it's, you know what, to my discredit, I shouldn't have brought up Dane Cook like I knew, like, everything that he said and how I could criticize it.
Right.
Because he's basically a meme for me about people who are like, man, I think I'm a funny person because my jokes land like Dane Cook. And I'm like, you're not very funny.
Oh my god. No, I think the biggest thing, I was more going to comment just on his career and how, like, I feel things have changed. Like, there are comedians who are strictly doing his exact gig. Like, I feel like Kevin Hart is a perfect example. There are no jokes. It's just storytelling, and it's ridiculousness, and it's just complete imaginative storytelling that has no real grounds in reality whatsoever. It's just the exaggeration of literally every moment and telling that story. And so Kevin Hart's making millions off of that. That one comedian, that's right. Is that how you say it? Eliza Schlesinger, I can't talk because I have booze in my system, but that's a very difficult name. She, oh my God, she is like, if anyone was a female version of Dane Cook, and I'm probably getting hot water for saying that too, but a female version of a man, it's that girl. Like, I tried watching her special, and now at my time in my life, I'm like, I just didn't think it was funny at all. Like, not even for a second. But there was a time where I thought Dane Cook was insanely funny, and now I think, like, I think I've heard them. I could probably, as it's playing, I could probably do the jokes in the same cadence and everything as him. And I was like, well, that's a cool thing, you know,
What's
for
her
him.
name?
I don't want to say it again. And we're not repping anything. Eliza.
Fuck you, Dane Cook.
Fuck you, everybody. Fuck you, Kevin Hart. Fuck you, Eliza. Fuck you, Dane. Actually, you're okay. You're okay. You know, because something happened. Like, everybody was for it. then everybody became against it, and now everybody doesn't realize that they have it again in a bunch of different people. But then Dane's not a part of it. Like, he's not a part of that. He created a wave of comedy that
because he did Employee of the Month, and then everyone was like, "Okay, Dane Cook, get out of my movies."
He did a bunch of movies that nobody liked, and I didn't like either. But don't dare tell me he's not a valid comedian or a good comedian, or or call it something else. It's like the whole mumble rap thing. It's like, call it something else. Do not call it hip hop. It's its own thing, and it's good at its own thing. It's good at what it does on its own. It doesn't really have any tie to this. So it's
rapping for kids.
Exactly, yeah. I wish it would make more sense if it was rapping for kids. It'd maybe be the ABCs or something.
I mean, literally everyone who wants to get into hip hop who's under 18 can get a start in mumble rap. So yeah. It's just like it's kids pop rap for sure.
Wow.
Yeah.
I'm
gonna go there. Yeah. I'm like, it's still. I mean, I still listen to it. Like, here and there.
Yeah, occasionally.
I can get. I don't know. Yeah.
You're like, what things?
Take my criticism first and foremost.
Yeah, before I age myself. But yeah, man, I don't know. That's my take on that. I was gonna say I'd like to see a YouTube video on that. Fuck it, I'll make a YouTube video on that.
Yeah.
And that's the point of this thing too. This whole podcast is when you say to yourself, "Man, I'd really like to see this thing." Mm-hmm. Or hear this thing, do this thing.
I want to hear a set, or a sample of your set, and maybe the next time we do.
There you go. Okay, I'll work on it. I won't promise anything. I'll work on it. I'll work on it just in the same way you worked on my intro.
Good.
And we'll see. We'll see what happens. But yeah, I'll give it a shot.
Good deal.
What's next? Let's keep going. I think I'm gonna take a little break, take a drink. Go ahead and talk to the people.
Okay.
As best you can. Let's see.
Hi, people. I'm going to see how long I have to talk to you. Oh, damn. We talking for 37 minutes. Congrats, everybody who's along with us.
I think this one is going to require editing.
You're all special to me. If Gabe edits this out, he doesn't think you're special. They're like that. You're like, that won't exist, so it doesn't matter.
Like, scrub, delete. All right. No, I'll probably delete it out of the main one, and then release it as its own episode of 5 seconds.
Ah. Gabe cares. 5 seconds.
There it is. All right. We can keep going. Let's make it even more lax. I'm going to set this over here and see. Hopefully we can still hear everything. And this is, like I said, I'm going to edit some of this too. But, all right, Drew.
Yeah, what's the first thing on the list?
First thing on the list. Next episode. I'm thinking about this. Okay, this is just kind of coming to me now, sort of. I got a pass for a hot yoga session.
Okay, for like a free
hot yoga session. And by hot yoga, I mean it sounds really sexual, but
yeah, is it for couples?
No, man, that'd be really cool. No, it's called Bikram yoga, and you go into like basically a sauna.
Did you just rep a certain place?
You don't do anything. God damn it. So I'm gonna go do this thing, and I'm gonna bend a lot, and it's gonna be really hot. And
that's nice and vague. No one can be repped from that.
Right? Yeah. Absolutely. So here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking we should do a podcast beforehand, and you should talk to me about something that's gonna get me really mad, get me really pissed off, and I'm just gonna go off, and I'm gonna rant for however long I rant for about it. I have a couple topics in mind. Then I'm gonna go in. And then I'm gonna do my stretches. I'm gonna do my poses, and I'm gonna do it in the heat. And I'm gonna transform myself. I'm gonna meditate, and then I'm gonna come back. And you're gonna ask me that same thing, and we're gonna see if I'm just as mad.
Oh my god! Or if I feel like you're gonna get even. I think you're gonna go into hot yoga and be like, this fucking sauna in here gonna make me bend my body hurts. You know what? Fuck this whole idea. And you'll just leave early.
And then I'll fake it. I'll say, yeah, you know.
And you'll come back.
I feel really good.
No,
I'm going to do it. I'm going to go through with it. I think, oh gosh, I don't know how long it is. Maybe it's an hour. Mm-hmm. And I asked her, and she said, I said, hey, if I don't feel good, can I leave? And she's like, yeah, that's the kind of, she gave me that like, yeah, you're going to be the person that's going to be like, I don't feel good. She's like, I don't want to have you in the class. I could see it in her face. But she said, you know what? We encourage you to stay as long as you can. But honestly, if you need to go, you can go. But no, I'm going to stick it out. I'm going to try it.
Okay.
And so that's what I'm pushing for the next one. If it's the next one after that, sure. We don't have no fucking schedule. We do whatever the fuck we want.
That is very true. Yeah.
We stick to it ourselves, and not even that.
We're very honest with ourselves and capabilities.
Yeah.
Of time.
Wow. That's my idea for next week. Do you have any ideas? Anything?
I
want to get into now? Or
I was thinking question that I would probably ask you, or like to get you heated, is like,
oh boy,
or the topic to get you heated is that Lost is not as good as you think.
Oh my God!
Wow, it's devious.
How dare you?
You can prove it to me.
I will.
We'll
You know, I'll prove it to you.
We'll leave it.
And you know what? Yeah, we'll leave it for now.
Drew Kivlin.
It's like wrestling. Drew Kivlin, I'm calling you out. You went and said in front of all these people that Lost isn't as good as I think. Well, let me tell you something. It is. It truly is.
It is.
And I'm going to show you in the form of a secondary podcast specifically dedicated to the reviewing of the show, seasons 1 through 6, all the way through, with its own little twist on it that I won't go into yet. But it'll be a fun surprise. It'll be a fun show that if you could find it in your heart to change whatever idea you have, you could be a part of it with me, and I won't judge you for your sacrilegiousness.
That's pretty.
And we'll go from there.
Well-tempered. Did you do your hot yoga?
I did a little hot yoga. I shut all the doors and I started jerking off. And
is that steam I'm feeling?
That's what it is. I turned the shower on. Yeah, that's what.
Great place to end it. I like it.
Yeah. All right, guys. Like I said in the last episode, have fun and be you and pleasure yourself. What's your moral for today?
Oh, a moral. Oh, well, it sounded like we were going into our guilty pleasures, not our moral. Our moral of the day: do what feels good.